Welcome back. Improving focus is essential for productivity, learning, and overall well-being. So whether you're studying, working, or simply trying to stay attentive, here to help us with some strategies to enhance our concentration is Dr. Justin Cohen. Justin, in today's modern age, let me talk for myself. I struggle to focus. Like, I procrastinate about deadlines, and then I get into that zone, and then something happens and I go out of it. So please, what are some of the tools that we can put in place that can help us with this?
Well, Z, I think if we really look at ourselves, we'll realize that almost none of us have an attention problem when it comes to doing the things we want to do. So as much as, you might find yourself, reprimanding, a child for, not focusing on their homework, they're perfectly able to focus on that computer game, right? Or that TV show.
Yes.
And this is important. This is important, right? Because we've also, and I'm not saying there isn't a thing called ADHD, and, we can talk about that maybe in another show, but this idea that there's this disease, this pathology of attention, no, we can, and likewise, if there's an attacker coming at you, you will focus your attention, right?
Yeah.
So attention is really linked to motivation.
Okay.
And we're motivated by one of two things, pain or pleasure. That's why we will be fully focused on a threat, right? Think about it. Something's wrong with your life, you are focused on it, right? You don't stop thinking about it, almost to an error, right?
Yes.
Because that overthinking doesn't really help, right? But you're pretty focused. If there's something that you want, right, the love of your life is on the other end of the table, you're pretty focused, right? So we know how to focus. We don't always know how to motivate ourselves. And so if there's something that you're doing, like maybe it is homework, maybe it is studying, maybe it is a task at work that you don't love, you want to bring some pleasure to it. How do you do that? You want to remind yourself why this is important.
Okay.
Link it to purpose. How does this link to your mission? How are you going to be better off? How are people going to be better off when you do this, right? Yeah? There's two men on a building site. The one is, a passerby asks him, what are you doing? The one replies, I'm cutting stone. It's hard. It's boring. My back is killing me. Probably doesn't have a lot of attention, right?
Yes.
The other one, he looks up, his eyes shining, smiling. He says, me, I'm building a cathedral. Who's going to be more focused, right? The one
that's deriving pleasure out of his work.
Right, because there's a higher purpose here.
Yes.
So we've got to link with our higher purpose, with our why. Yeah, what is our reason? Why are we doing this? Why is this important? Right? By the way, that question unlocks motivation. Why? Why is this important? We need to remind ourselves about that because we forget.
So let me flip the switch. Sometimes your why is not always your why, but it's a why you have to do to get something done. So sometimes we live in, we do jobs that we're not entirely satisfied with, or we go to school and we don't really want to be there, but have to be there. How do you bring motivation to that?
So we want to, so the why could be a future, which is external motivation, right? What is it that I get out of this? How maybe I don't really feel like studying this particular module, but I know that this enables me to become a doctor. And I know that when I'm a doctor, I can make that difference in the world, right? So if I can link present pain to future pleasure, right?
Yes.
That's what we want to do, right? We want to be thinking, that's what we say, well, I don't want to go to the gym. Focus on the reason you're going, which is a fit, healthy, energized body. But we also want intrinsic pleasure if we can get it. We can't always get it, but we want to try. So for instance, if you're going to the gym, bring the pleasure to the gym. So listen to uplifting music or do the kind of exercise that you enjoy, right? So if it's studying, maybe there's some light music in the background, or maybe you sit in your comfy chair, or maybe you study with a friend that you really like, right? So you want to link pleasure to that behavior. When you've got pleasure to the behavior, you will focus.
Any other practical tips on finding the motivation to get there? Like, I know exercise is a big one, right? What else is there?
Well, again, everybody's why is different. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor, said, here's a why to live can be almost any how. You will do whatever you have to if you've got a compelling reason. So we need to find those reasons. And the question I would suggest we ask ourselves is, why is this important to me? And you write down those questions and think in terms of what is the pleasure that I will get, as in what I stand to gain, and what is the pain that I will avoid, as in what I stand to lose if I don't do that. As long as we're clear about this, by the way, this is the one question that's usually missing from goal achievement programs. We get our what, we get our how, we get our when, we miss our why. We take that for granted. Don't take it for granted. That's what, look, God comes out of the heavens, says you don't achieve your goal, you will die. You think you'd make it happen? You bet, because you'd have a compelling reason. Good news, that's not going to happen. But you are going to have a very compelling reason that you've created for yourself.
Yeah. So what is your question when you need to get out of a funk, for example? What is the question? What do you say? Justin what? Justin focus, Justin, what are you doing? Like, take us into your, what do you call it? Your higher cortex, your upper brain.
Okay, so firstly, and we were chatting a bit about lower and higher brain.
Yes.
If you're in that lower brain, you can't think clearly, right?
Okay.
You probably can't ask why. But if you can recognize that you're there, see, this is so beautiful, and I know that you are a huge adherent of the power of the lung.
Yes.
Breathe, right? So when we are stressed, we're breathing shallow breathing up in the chest. That's great if you're running away from a lion, short, sharp shots of oxygen into the lungs. Not great if you want to engage your higher brain. So when we bring our air into the belly, breathing in, belly goes out, right? And we do everything in our lives to keep our belly in, which is why we're not breathing properly. Belly goes out, it's the lungs are expanding like a beautiful balloon. Yeah. Breathing in, belly out, breathing out, belly in. Okay. You do 3 of those. Breathing in, I like to breathe in on the count of 2, out on the word calm, use a bit of self-hypnosis, calm. You do 3 of those breaths. If we had you into a brain scan, we would see the blood, glucose, oxygen, and nutrients shift from your lower to your higher brain. I was in a little chat, as one way of putting it, with some friends the other day who were giving me some unsolicited feed forward, as I like to call it. And you know, when somebody gives you feedback, often you become defensive. You go into your lower brain. And I found myself getting defensive and my voice, and I was like, hold on a second, that's not my values. I value feedback. If you can't say you're wrong, you can't say you're smarter today than you were yesterday. Yeah. See, I just sat back in my chair, slowed down my breathing. Suddenly I could hear them.
Okay.
Suddenly I could now respond without trying to attack or defend. Suddenly I could respond in terms of my values to learn and grow.
Yeah.
No doubt I'd engage my higher brain.
Yes. So slow down, take a step back, take those 3 breaths, breathe out the word calm, and you'll be able to have a different response.
Absolutely.
Love that. Thank you, Justin. Justin, it is always nothing but a pleasure having you on set. Please do come back soon.
Thank you.
There you go. Remember, improving your focus is a gradual process. Implement these strategies consistently, and you will notice positive changes in your ability to concentrate.